Almost sounded like one of those Japanese birds or something. But anyway, with that, good morning, everybody, from Downers Grove. This is it. This is episode 13, the season finale. I believe it is going to be the season finale. So, yep, here's the sign one more time. And we're going to be just in time for the first express of 2 that we'll see here today. We haven't done Forest Avenue in quite some time, so let's do Forest Avenue for the express. And then we'll head over to the station and watch the outbound comes first, and then So yeah, I know, as much as I hate to say it, this is going to be most likely the last time we'll be here for the year. And then, yeah, as the school year gets underway here in just a matter of days, in fact, with the school just down the road. And just down the road from here, yeah. As we made basically the final preparations yesterday. And because we're at the end of the school year at this point, really we're really just going to get some final things taken care of, and then that will be the end of it. So, and since every teacher's been getting their classrooms ready, so pretty much I might not even get a chance to come downtown in the afternoon to try to see maybe some final trains before my summer break winds down and my college semester gets going. That will be in just a couple weeks. That will be when the first of my Thursday evening classes begin. Yet I know we won't hear the announcement from the station because we're a little bit further away. But fittingly enough, I got dropped off here in downtown instead of all the way over there. So yeah, I think I missed the first of the 2. I don't know if it said Village of Downers Grove. I couldn't tell. But, oh well. Why don't we check out some more of this part of downtown, because I don't think we've discovered this part yet. So yeah, there's the Burlington Station Apartments. Oh. Yeah. I probably should have looked further at the biker before crossing. That's fine. But anyway, yeah, I had a good night last night. Nothing really too much happened after we ended our Wednesday show. However, I noticed I didn't have the YouTube app open on my tablet to upload the Wednesday stuff. So I'm going to do that again tonight. Well, actually later after I come back from work. Yeah, later on after I get back from work. And then, yeah, Wisconsin and WCKA are the only other 2 things they need to add on to it. So I've actually already done that before we left, so. Yeah, why don't we get the outbound message? Because I don't think I have gotten that yet. So yeah, why don't we try that for a change? But now the only challenge is getting across this busy main street. We can cross Burlington Avenue. How about a little bit of this block for a change instead too, because we haven't checked out a little more of it. There used to be a coming. No, it's not. No, it was a math museum in my hometown. What else have we got? Enclave. There's a little bookstore here. Reese's Book Club. Yeah, I don't want to go too far. So that's probably all I'm going to show. Heritage House Florist. I'm guessing that's a flower shop. Okay, here's the walk sign. Better get over now. And there's that clock tower I showed you all earlier in the season. And here's the fountain holding its hands high for the finale. Ben's Memorial Mile, I'm not sure what that's about. Should be about something. Yeah, you can see it's turning around.
The next outbound train approaching your station will not stop. For your safety, please step behind the yellow line. The next outbound train approaching your station will not stop. For your safety, please step behind the yellow line. BNSF train number 1211 to Aurora is arriving in approximately 6 minutes. BNSF train number 1211 to Aurora is arriving in approximately 6 minutes.
Now, and there's the light already. We need to be on this side if we want to hear. Because yeah, ever since I started visiting downtown, after work, I've been thinking about getting these. I'm actually working on putting together a compilation of door closing announcements, like what Raise the Letter did. So I'm kind of thinking about doing the same thing. But yeah, I didn't go further into detail on what happened after we were with you last night. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that now. So after we left you, yeah, nothing too much. Just rendered the compilation and then called it quits there. Simple as that. This morning, the catch-up process was quite simple. In fact, there was not that much, so I had to do it I did it the old-fashioned way, not just playing each of the tests and severe weather products individually, one at a time. Well, the tests, some of them with the severe weather products, but not that. Did it basically separately, sort of like one at a time, the way that it was done previously. So used a lot of that time this morning to get that done. So I'm all caught up with that now. Of course, leading up to here. So the question is now, will the Sandberg get canceled again out of Chicago? Well, I don't know, because it got canceled twice in a row, so I don't know if it's going to happen again, but we'll have to find out. And how perfect for a day like this. I heard this is going to be one of the hottest days of the week so far. I heard in the 90s, possibly some storms later. I haven't seen it on hourly yet, but I'll refresh it and see. In fact, the entirety of Chicagoland is under 2 days, I believe. No, not 2 days. Today, they're under a marginal risk for severe weather. But in terms of weeklies, I checked the results. If you may remember, when I was talking about it last night, I was shocked to find out that Raleigh and Wakefield still did their test despite all those flash flood warnings that was active. And unfortunately, Melbourne dropped their evening tests, most likely because of short staff. I'm not going to be surprised if any other office like Des Moines or Norman does this at some point in the future. However long it's going to be down the road. But only time will tell whether that's going to happen or not. Yeah, only time will tell if it'll happen. But otherwise, every other office got their weekly in today. The only one that didn't was Hastings, I believe. So I have it in my logger just in case. Or the stream might have went down when the weekly happened from them, or they may have forgot. I don't know. I don't know what the case is, but just in case they postponed it, I have it in there. And then, is there anything else I was going to report? I don't think there was anything else otherwise, so. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to report here at this stage in time, but unfortunately, yeah, this is the very end of the season, but well, I'll talk about that in just a little bit because the 1211 is now arriving. 6-hour test. I'm assuming that's northern Indiana, but I have not been paying attention to those statistics. That's how long we got for that one. Well, I would get set up over there, but I'm gonna hold off. Oh, from Chicago. Okay, yeah, I did not see that. When I came back, I probably did not see I didn't see the weekly test lights still on a lot of my things. So actually I was thinking, let's go get set up on the other side. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do, but all right. Was there anything else otherwise? Otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's anything else yet to report then. So this actually could be it. So while we have some time before the inbound shows up, cross. See the outbound now stopping at Belmont. Just a bit down the road. That's actually where I saw Amtrak Zephyr number 5 yesterday as we were leaving town. It was pretty nice, wasn't it? So while we have some time before the inbound shows up, I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to thank everyone who's joined us this season. I mean, this was kind of fun trying Railfanning video in a live stream format. This one's having issues, I see. I don't know who amped up the power on these fountains, but yeah, they're going higher, much higher than they were before. Yeah, as high up as that. And then in the water there's all the pennies that people have been throwing in and making wishes and things like that. And yeah, here's one last look at that clock tower that was donated by DG Noon of Lions International. This is a hearing aids and eyeglasses drop-off box. I mean, that's amazing that they repurposed an old mailbox for something else to be dropped off, which I find pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Yeah, everybody's getting their tickets and whatnot, getting across before it shows up. And it's coming around the curve. So it'll be here in like 2 minutes. Well, yeah, 2 minutes because it's going to stop in Belmont. It's going to stop at Belmont first and then here. So about 4 minutes, if not maybe 3 minutes now, if not less. But yeah, before it comes, I don't think I've ever done that gate down. I'm not going to try it, but as much as I'd like to. But I want to watch the inbound come and depart and get another one of those closing messages. But yeah, then after we're all done here, then backyard baseball later tonight. We'll do that at 5 when I get home. When I get home later this afternoon. And then, of course, tonight's primetime action of Celebrity Family Feud and Pressured Luck. Those are going to be exciting. And then Friday, tomorrow, that's when I'm going to do the hardware upgrades and make final preparations for college things, which include enrolling my XPSPC into the extended updates and putting that extra stick of RAM in my HP to make it more powerful. As 11 with 8 gigabytes of RAM is not that good. Yep, 3 minutes and counting down.
BNSF train number 1228 to Chicago Union Station is arriving in approximately 3 minutes.
So we got 3 minutes, that's how long we got done. I don't think I've ever showed this sign off yet. Of course, bicycling, skateboarding, or roller skating in around train. What? Upside down _ rain station area. Violators will be prosecuted. It seems like a lot of letters on that sign have deteriorated over the course of time. And it's to be expected with a lot of things, including these signals. Can't remember when these were installed. These new ones, I think it was like 2018 when these were installed. But thankfully they've left the cantilevers alone, which is pretty nice. And it's getting closer, so yeah, I don't think there's anything else left to report at this point, so I'll try to think of something else. But here's the 1228 right now.
BNSF train number 1228 to Chicago Union Station is now arriving. Please step behind the yellow line. BNSF train number 1228 to Chicago Union Station is now arriving. Please step behind the yellow line.
Yeah, the 7471 coach, that was actually the high-pitched, that was one of the other cars with the high-pitched announcements. So yeah, I got a much better version of that. So that's gonna be great. I'll probably just shuffle them around in no particular order when I piece that little compilation together. Well, let me see how much battery power is left on this thing. 61%. Yeah. So somewhere within the coming weeks, maybe this weekend, in fact, could consider getting my new phone. But I do have a week. But next week, if it all goes well today, then I will be most likely free from any sort of from any work of any sort. But unfortunately, that would then mean no more Downers Grove for a while. Actually, a long time, in fact, for another year. And yeah, there's that building again where the fire alarm activated earlier in the week. I didn't get the moment the alarm went off, but it initially activated, but I did get it sounding along with all those fire trucks and there were a couple fire trucks and ambulances that were heading over to the building. They did thankfully get here quick enough because that manifest came through while the alarm was sounding. Or were they just waiting for the manifest to go by before? Or were they just waiting for the manifest to go by before? I don't know. But in any case, yeah, as I said earlier, this is going to be most likely, this is the season finale. Of course, you can tell by the title of this. Oh yeah. But as I, wait here for the express, there's one more express I want to see before I go over to the school and actually start a job today. Now, as we're waiting for the express, what time is it now? 35? Yeah, we still got a lot of time before it gets here. So while we have the chance, I want to go ahead, take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for, spending some of your morning with me here and checking out the hustle and bustle of downtown Downers Grove in an average weekday morning, along with the racetrack. Yeah, I mean, the racetrack, this has been my childhood. I told you all about the story of a crossing like this in Gilbert Avenue. I told you about the story about it where one of my relatives used to live a mile from here, from the line. Well, it does curve, but then after it curves further down there, probably after Westmont. Yeah, after Westmont in the Clarendon Hills where it curves, then the line just continues straight all the way to Chicago, so to Union Station, in fact. But yeah, I told you all the story. Used to take a bike or a scooter all the way to one of the street corners there and just watch the crossing and the rush hour, and it was pretty nice. But unfortunately, crossings along this section of the racetrack do not have that exclusive all clear signal. Well, actually, for all tracks, in fact. I didn't get to hear it yesterday when that manifest met that metro because I had to stay close by since my father was getting ready to take me home. Well, my father was getting his classroom ready, so I had to help him with that. So that's why I didn't get an opportunity to come down here yesterday. Today will most likely be the same story. So this express, along with anything else that I see during my job today, will probably be the last ones. But who knows? Just like last year, maybe I'll end up on the racetrack again somewhere during the off season. Some point during the off season, I might end up somewhere along the racetrack. Who knows? My family might be planning something, and it'll probably involve the Hillgrove Tap for lunch over in Western Springs or some other restaurant in the town. Well, we'll have to see how that goes, because yeah, getting to go there twice during the off season, that was quite a treat, let me tell you that. Especially the 31st, where I got to see Amtrak 3 on the racetrack for the first time in God knows how many years it's been. And then what else? And yeah, of course, earlier in the week, I got to see Amtrak 3 here in Downers Grove, achieving a long-time goal of getting to see most, if not all, of these long-distance trains here in Downers Grove. Well, I didn't get to see all of them in one day because Ford was like 2 hours late to Chicago Union Station. But I did get to see 4 last season, so yeah, I have not had too much luck with the long distance trains this year. Not that much luck until earlier the week. But I mean, I'm glad Tuesday was the day, because 3 had those Metrolink cars going back to Los Angeles, and 5 had the Operation Lifesaver, which I'm using the same bag again, just like I did yesterday. But this time we're learning from my mistake of, well, for not forgetting to leave one important thing out of it. So, but yeah. So, yeah, we still have a bit of time before it shows up. But once it rounds the curve, we know it's going to be here. So, before that happens, I know I already said it once, but I'll say it again. I mean, I want to thank all of you for sticking around with us joining me this season here. I mean, this was quite an amazing experiment. I mean, the live stream in Western Springs was an experiment, just to see how doing a Railfanning video in a live streaming format would work. And I'm very impressed with how it turned out. That was actually a day after Christmas, 2 days after we did that live stream of the fireworks in Dyer, Indiana on Christmas Eve, which I was quite surprised to learn that they did fireworks on Christmas Eve, because I don't think any other town does it. I'll have to take a look at any other towns and see if they do such. Otherwise, Dyer, Indiana might be the only one. So that's definitely a Christmas Eve I will never forget, for sure. It was like 4th of July on Christmas Eve. And Drew's asking about a fast train. Yep, it's gonna be T-minus 3 minutes then. I guess 3 minutes it'll be here, so that's my guesstimate from previous estimates, because I think it's usually about 42 or 42 or 43, somewhere around that time frame that it shows up. Of course, this is the morning rush hour, so it's not going to be a very long wait for all these trains. Most times now, I think mostly here it's like 15 minutes, but going further into Chicago, the wait time is actually much shorter as far as I've seen. The longest wait time here, I believe, was like half an hour, if I remember. Was it half an hour? Yeah, I think it was half an hour, if I recall. But other times, it's usually 5 minutes or less for another one to show up. That's how busy this railroad is. That's how busy it is. But like I said, maybe I'll end up on the racetrack again at some point during the off season. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up in Westmont, Clarendon Hills, Hinsdale maybe? Maybe LaGrange for the first time in God knows how long. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I see the express coming right now. So let me go get in position at the crossing that I'm gonna cross over soon after it passes. So let me go get set up over here.
The next inbound train approaching your station will not stop. For your safety, please step behind the yellow line. The next inbound train approaching your station will not stop. For your safety, please step behind the yellow line.
able to use the connection. Huh. That's weird. Four bars. I don't know how it's saying it's unstable. Oh well. That could probably be false. But never mind that. I see they're building a new house here. Either a new house or some other building. I don't know. Yeah, that's the kind of house. That's the style. That's the new style of house that relative I was talking about has. I mean, I do like the design. I mean, the double level. That's kind of nice. And for those of you who don't remember, I showed you Stella, their dog. I mean, that was 3 years ago, so I'm gonna have to do an updated video at some point. But yeah, this is sort of the angle I had. Like the sidewalk was right here, and the crossing was just like right over there. There used to be a General Signals Type 1 electronic bell here, but BNSF got rid of a lot of them, which is pretty disappointing. But I'm glad I got to enjoy it while I had the chance. So yeah, a lot of them have been replaced with Type 3s now. So mainly the line is just filled with. It's just mainly General Signal Type 3s now. That's pretty much all the bells that there are. There's still a few Type 2s left on the racetrack. There's only one Type 1 that's left on the, that's at a pedestrian crossing in Riverside, and that's really the only other remnant of that bell on the line that's left. But then the other oddities is a mechanical bell at the Highland Station pedestrian crossing, and then a Western Cone Hazy bell showing up on Harlem Avenue at its crossing. I mean, I've never seen any of those two bells do the racetrack cycle, the cycle that's exclusive to this line. So yeah, we'll watch the we will watch the next outbound, inbound. Oh yeah, outbound. Or is it, yeah, it's inbound. It's going to be inbound. It's going to be inbound next. So yeah, then after that, that's going to be it. Unless I end up back here at some point in the afternoon after I get off of work. But otherwise, that's it then. That will be the last time I'll be here downtown for this year. Yeah, if I want to get over to the school, I have to cross 2 sets of crosswalks. That's the first crosswalk. And here's the second one. And I see a Sleep Number truck is delivering a new mattress. Or whatever else they order, but if I am lucky, in fact, in a lot of the classrooms at the school, I could actually hear the rumbling of the locomotives all the way from, well, just from the room where I usually do all the work, and also at other places around the school in some cases. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting weekend for sure. As I get to give HP a memory upgrade. What else have we got going on? Later tonight, or possibly tomorrow, I'll get around to creating another version of the new intro format, and then I'll start a poll. Let you all decide what intro you would like to see. And then that's what I'm thinking right now. We'll probably start an intro poll. And we'll start the poll on Sunday. That poll will run for 1 week. And then that poll will close the following Sunday. At the stroke of midnight, if that's what I want to do. And just like we did back in 2023, the poll that has the most votes will become the new intro for 2026. Now I'm just going to post separate pictures. I'm not going to do any sort of text or anything like that. So I could do all those 28 variants separately, but I'll probably just throw all 28 into a compilation and then just do it all separately. So I'll do like a logo package. And then whichever intro package is the one that is going to be the new one chosen by you, that will get a 4-year anniversary version, 5-year anniversary version, and then that will be and then, of course, just like we did last year, that 4-year anniversary, that intro will run from January 2nd. No, it'll run from New Year's Eve this year. It's going to be on a Wednesday. And so will Christmas Eve. So it will be January 4th that we would then roll out the new intros and branding. Still got time to think about how I'm going to handle the final branding when we do the rebrand. So maybe that week off before we start the fall taping cycle, then I should reconsider those options. So yeah, next week will be the start of the fall taping cycle, but of course I'll need input from my viewers as to which intro you would like to see at the beginning of my videos next year. And then after the poll closes, the one with the most votes will be the final intro, or sequences that will be used. And then I'll start the fall taping cycle of Wheel of Fortune, Big John's, and Sorry. I mean, Brandon was using a lot of those. It seems like he has been studying my Sorry episodes very well. Especially since I think we're at 50 already. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get more episodes taken care of. Oh yeah, and I have to create a holiday intro too. I almost forgot about that. So that I'm gonna have to get working on as well before I can continue anything else. But anyway, I believe it's almost here. It's hard to tell when there's like a gazillion cars. Yeah, I'll have to listen very carefully for it. Here it is. And 211 ended up in the front of the doubleheader. In other words, 2 locomotives. Haven't seen that unit in a while. And I know that's what F40M has been trying to get to. I heard it led second on an outbound in LaGrange earlier this week. But yeah, that is going to be it then. That's the last train that I'll get to see before the start of my job. I believe he's here already. Not just yet, but very soon, in fact. So as we're still waiting for him, I want to, one last time, take this opportunity to thank all of you for spending part of your morning with us here in Downers Grove. Yeah, for spending part of your morning with us here a couple times a week. Hopefully next year we'll go back to the multi-day cycle that we have been doing over the past couple of years. We had to curtail it heavily this year for my college summer class. But that's all behind us now, so I'm very happy about that. I was about to say, I did say something about the fall taping cycle. I just want to do some final talking here before he shows up, if he does, which I sure hope will be soon. Otherwise, we'll keep this going until he does. Battery goes out. It's at 40% now. But anyway. So the fall taping cycle this week, I'll put together the second of the 2 intro sequences, and then I'll start a poll with photos of which background you'd like to see in next year's intro. Yeah, in next year's intro. But then of course I'll furthermore piece it together. I'm actually thinking furthermore maybe about doing because of how lucky we were, because Downers Grove shattered records twice this season. So that's how impressed I am. And that's how I'm already considering my choice for what could be a new intro. So either I'll just automatically do the cantilever, Downers Grove Crossing as the intro, or I'll think furthermore about those pictures from our trip, or videos from our trip rather, and use those as well, and maybe use those as alternate variants instead. But whichever case is whichever way it ends up going. So yeah, whichever way it ends up going. Once I have the new intros decided, it should be all decided by the 18th, which is then when I will get started on production of more episodes of Sorry, the CD-ROM game. I'll go until Thanksgiving of next year. And then I'll do the same thing with Big John's Wheel of Fortune. But then for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, now that I'm thinking about repeat questions that have been on most of those attempts of recording it, I think we may get through all the questions. We might get through all the questions in these 200 episodes. So I think then Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader may end up lasting for only 200 episodes, possibly the shortest order, considering I wanted to do a season 2. I'll have to read the documentation and see exactly how many questions there are on the game. Yeah, see how many questions ended up on the game, and then I'll decide from there which way to go in terms of that. So for the fall taping cycle, it's going to be first produce Sorry and Wheel of Fortune, get those caught up, and then start production on the rest of season 1, maybe the only season, of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. I'll try to see if I can do a season 2, and then while Sorry is recording, I'll look at the I'll look at the previous recordings of 5th grader and see if any repeat questions ended up showing up. And if there are any repeat, I would then just take all the footage and I would just then scrap the second season and then end the show there. But it's only a matter of time before whatever else ends up happening. So it's going to be a bit of time before we eventually make that choice. Before we make that choice. And then I'm hoping to have the fall taping cycle completed by mid-December, somewhere around early to mid-December, because I'll actually start the fall taping in August. In fact, this month, in just a couple weeks, I'll start the fall taping cycle. But then, of course, after I record all those sorry episodes usually last anywhere from half an hour, about 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah, some episodes have gone over an hour. But I have yet to check the final statistics on either of them to see when another 1 hour episode would end up releasing. So that's August, that's this month, in just a couple weeks. I'll begin taping episodes of Sorry and Big John's Wheel of Fortune, and then wrap up season 1 of 5th grader. When that's all done, then I'll move on to creating episodes for 2 new shows. I have one show, I believe I have one show secured already. I'm still debating, but I believe I have one show already secured for its new spot. I'm thinking about doing Ticket to Ride, because those games on the mobile game typically last about 10 minutes. So I'm thinking we'll go ahead and do Ticket to Ride and get that show going. So I'm thinking about getting that show started. But then for all of my shows, we're gonna put an opening and a closing card on it, sort of like an intro, sort of like a pre-roll to the show. Because if you may remember, some guy that I don't even know stole a few of my EAS content despite all those intros being there. Now, I think he took advantage of some of those short videos where there were no intros. So then with the logo being there, that should sort of deter any sort of thieves from taking content without permission. So that's what I'm thinking as well. I've been thinking about this. Well, I mean, we're still planning it out, but as I said, I'll get to the taping of those shows in the next couple weeks. But then, of course, I'll have to work it around the busy college schedule. But furthermore, now that I have a Dell Micro in my possession, the taping of Sorry should go much faster than before. Ooh, another Metro showed up. Yep, one of the old F40PH locomotives. All right, there is that. Oh my goodness, we just hit it. Oh my gosh, it's still not here. My Lord. Anyway, off it goes now. I'll have to. What is even going on there today? Well, I'll keep waiting and see if anybody ends up showing up. But then when we get to the spring taping for 26, which will begin in January, that is then when I will start production of Ticket to Ride. At least that's what I'm planning on doing. Yeah, new episodes of that. I'll probably just get on making episodes that go up to the holiday season of that show. Yeah, the holiday season of that show. And then there's another show too I'm thinking about, but I'm still undecisive as to which one. And I'm actually thinking about debuting another one too. Putting it in the place of where fifth grader would be if it ends up getting scrapped later on. But that show actually will debut next week, so it's going to be very exciting to see how that goes. I mean, I played the game like twice on stream and off camera. It's sort of like a prep test for the program. Because I try not to include trivia shows as much. I try not to include trivia games as much as I can, because I'm not good at trivia, to be honest. There are some things that I might know, but other things not so much. But it's just a stroke of luck, or something like that. So yeah, as of right now, Ticket to Ride has been secured. Not sure what show that's going to replace yet. Haven't decided if that will replace Meal or No Meal or The Big Numbers. But either of those two. And then I'm trying to think of another show that we could debut in the place of the 6:30 slot, or whichever other slot I want to do. I haven't decided the final placement yet of both, but I will think about it. So that will be that. And then if fifth grader if I do decide to move forward with fifth grader season 2, actually fifth grader season 2 will be the first thing I take. The first half of, actually no, we're putting Ticket to Ride and that other show first, because the thing is, there's only going to be 2 months before that one would premiere. Or if I want to allow more time, I could have it take the place of The Big Numbers, and then whatever other show I want to do, make that the priority. Be the first show to do, only then to release within 2 months. So that's the plan as of this moment with the with the spring and fall taping cycles for this year. And then I'm hoping to have the spring taping finished by May. Hopefully have it all completed by May. But furthermore, since we'll be retiring the national EAS sector of the channel, the process will most likely go much faster. So we will see how that plays out. I mean, that's kind of odd to see the building dark today. So I know Mike usually gets here on time, so I don't even know if there's anybody even inside. I didn't see much about the parking lot, so I'll have to go and take a look. But yeah, I think we're on the nitty-gritty of the battery power now. So we're gonna go ahead and end this so I can save battery on my phone. Wow, I think this is the longest stream we've ever ran on this series. So yeah, that was perfect for the season finale. So with that, again, I'd like to thank all of you for sticking around, checking us out during the spend time of your morning with us. I mean, it has been an amazing season. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to come back here next year. Well, we'll have to see if that's going to happen. But I guess until then, only time will tell. So we will see you later. Well, I won't, because I'm just gonna, just start the stream and then the game's gonna start straight away. So with that, I hope you all have a good Thursday morning. Good Thursday. And I will see you all later, whether I'm talking with y'all at the Lemvine on Discord or anybody, or on the public chat on my server. I hope to see you all. I'll see you all there when I can, if anyone ends up showing up there. But otherwise, this is where our adventure ends in Downers Grove. So we will see you back here in Downers Grove next year for season 4. So until then, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you all later.